Hello and welcome to Hero Wars Info. My name is Ryan. As always, my goal is to make sure you are the most efficient and best Hero Wars player that you can be. If you like my content, go ahead, please like and subscribe to see similar videos in the future. Today, I want to talk to you about Titans. Specifically, the teams, if you're just starting to build them out, which teams you should start to be thinking about, who I personally like the best, and kind of their strengths and weaknesses. So let's jump into it. So the first thing that you need to know about Titans is there's going to be 5 different types of teams that you could potentially create in terms of elements. We have the water, which is the Hyperion, Sigurd, Nova, and Mayari. We have the earth, which is Eden, Angus, Avalon, and Silva. We have fire, which is Moloch, Araji, Vulcan, and Ignis. And then the 2 other elements are light, Solaris, Iari, Rigel, and Amon, and then dark, Kyros, Mort, Brewster, and Tenebris. If you are a new player or just started or even starting to think about building your Titan teams, I would absolutely go with one of the 3 main elements. So I'm talking water, earth, or fire. So my personal pick is water, and we'll go through them in priority and kind of why I would pick water first. So water is kind of considered the easiest team. It is a healing team. Hyperion's one of his abilities is actually to heal the ally with the least health. And you can also do some damage mitigation with Mayari. Now the big thing here is that the totem for the water is a healing totem. So the reason a lot of people tell newer players to go with water is because in the dungeon, you'll be able to get further than you normally would because your Titans will be healing themselves. That will help you get more resources. Since each fight you get, you win, you either get some Titan skin stones, or some Titan soul stones, or you get some Titan potions. So getting as far as you can in the dungeon is helpful, and a water team will help you do that, especially if you have the totem leveled up. Now, while you can kind of think of water as like the healing team, let's talk about the damage team. That's going to be fire. Now, fire is actually my personal favorite to play. They're just so fun because that totem activation really does a ton of damage. Moloch, who is the tank, has a nice stun. Araji's ultimate has a lot of damage that they do to any one individual. Ignis speeds up attacks. And Vulcan basically just does a lot of damage whenever they ult. But the totem does a lot. Now, unfortunately, the fire totem is also going to be the easiest one to kill. They don't have any healing activities whatsoever. The only stun that they have is Moloch doing his ultimate. So if you do pick this fire team, you won't be able to get as far in the dungeon. However, whenever you're facing other Titan teams, especially Earth teams, a fire team can be devastating to Earth teams and other teams too, like a light and dark team. A fire team is still a very good choice for that. So while it's probably not my first choice for new players, if you just like, hey, I just want to do as much damage as possible, I don't really care about getting far in the dungeon, go with fire. Now, if you kind of want a mix of the 2, maybe Earth is more right for you. Or if you want to kind of go, if you like being the counterculture person, Earth might also be the team that you go for. So Earth is going to be really good against water, and I would say that most people on the high-end game are going to be using water teams. Now, obviously, you're going to see teams of every single kind. But it does seem like there are more Water Titans teams out there than other teams. So if you go Earth, that's kind of the counter to those water teams. And while they don't necessarily have healing, they do have a lot of damage mitigation. First off, Eden is able to drag a different Titan down, which will stop them from doing any damage to your team. Avalon gives a protective shield to your entire team that takes a little bit to be broken. But most importantly, their totem actually protects against damage and can be very nice. So you can see here, it creates a crystal barrier that protects against all attacks and can also reflect all of the damage that they were going to take onto the attacking enemies. So it's kind of a double damage scenario until this barrier breaks. So it's also not a bad team. Now the reason I say select one of the elements, the water, earth, or fire, is because all three of them are going to be specific attacks within the dungeon. You can see here, it will allow me to use my fire team or my earth team here, but it does not have that for light and dark. The only time you can use light and dark titans in the dungeon is if you use it in those fights where they allow any titan to fight, which if you're really trying to get far in the dungeon, you want to use mostly water teams so that your teams can keep on healing up. So that's not to say that water, light, and dark don't have their uses, because they absolutely do, and they can be very powerful in their own way. But if we're talking about starting out or building teams out, usually I would recommend water, fire, then earth. And then once you build one of these, then you can start to think about building either a few light titans out or a few dark titans out, so that you can get a double totem mix if you're able to build up those totems. Now, the light teams and the dark teams are interesting. The light has a few healing abilities, like Iari is also a healing titan. So if you want a full healing team, like the 4 water and Iari could be really good in getting a lot of health back. Solaris has a stun, and one of the nice things about the light team is that they also, once you activate the totem, and this can be a level 1 totem, it doesn't matter, the skill is great even if you have a low level, is that it will stop any titan from dying for a period of, I think it's like 4 seconds, but that can be crucial in a fight. Just that one activation can stop killing blows from happening, especially if the other team has done their ultimate ability. It's 5 seconds. Over the course of 5 seconds, allies' Titan's health can't drop below 1. And then that can really be the death knell to opponents' teams. If your team, it can't die while theirs can. Dark Titans are also fun. Tenebris, and it's just, once he ultimates, the person who he ultimates on is going to be dying pretty quick. He just sucks their health out. So he's a lot of fun. I'm actually going to be thinking about building up Brewster, who has also a few fun skills, such as transferring all damage taken to an enemy in the farthest row for 3.6 seconds. So he basically is not going to get hit, but he will hit the enemy team with a lot of damage, especially if they've ulted and they're just getting hit at the same time. So, and what their totem does is that it basically conjures a black hole, and it just damages enemies for 5 seconds, depending on how close they are to that black hole. So just really a DPS team. You sometimes see that in conjunction with fire teams, like a fire dark, to be like a double damage. Just try to knock your Titan team down as much as possible. But again, I would not recommend trying to major your first team in light or dark. Have that be either a second team or a third team after you get some of the main elements. Now that's just kind of a quick overview on what I would do if I was starting a Titan team. We can, in future videos, get a little bit more in depth about what that will look like. But I hope you enjoyed. If you do have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later.